What if I told you the greatest power in World War I wasn't forged on the battlefield, but across an ocean? A young nation that stepped forward not for conquest, but to save a world collapsing into chaos. This is the story of how America became the force the world could no longer ignore. The First World War begins with a gunshot in Sarajevo, but the explosion echoes across an entire planet. Empires crumble, alliances ignite, and within days, Europe becomes a battlefield, stretching from the North Sea to the edges of the Ottoman Empire. Britain, France, Russia, Germany, Austria-Hungary. Great powers clash like titans, each believing victory will come quickly. They are wrong. Across the Atlantic, the United States watches the chaos unfold. A young nation, powerful, industrial, rising, yet untouched by war. Its factories roar louder than any in Europe. Its economy dominates the Western Hemisphere. But unlike the great empires, America does not rush to battle. President Woodrow Wilson stands before the nation and declares neutrality, not from fear, but from principle. A message to the world: America will be a force of peace, not destruction. For now, the United States chooses calm over chaos, stability over aggression, wisdom over anger. But peace is fragile, and soon a single spark on the ocean would challenge America's resolve like never before. By 1915, the war in Europe grows darker. Trenches rot with mud and misery. Shells carve mountains into dust. The world's greatest empires bleed themselves dry. Yet, in the United States, life moves forward with strength and confidence. America's industry surges. Its steel mills roar through the night. Its farms feed millions across oceans. Its banks hold the financial heartbeat of the Allies. Whether the world admits it or not, America has already become the silent pillar holding civilization together. But even as the United States stands for peace, danger approaches from below the waves. Germany unleashes a new weapon, the U-boat, a steel shark of the deep. These submarines prowl the Atlantic, sinking ships without warning. They threaten trade, threaten civilians, and though America tries to stay calm, the ocean grows hostile. President Wilson remains determined. The United States is too proud to fight. But every week, the sea grows louder with. And then, a single day, a single ship, and a single explosion would change America's destiny forever. May 7th, 1915. A quiet morning on the Atlantic. The British passenger liner RMS Lusitania glides through calm waters, carrying almost 2,000 civilians, men, women, and children. Among them, 128 Americans, ordinary people, families, travelers, lives with futures waiting across the ocean. But beneath the waves, fate approaches. A German U-boat rises into attack position. A single torpedo, launched at deadly speed. It slams into the Lusitania's hull. Within minutes, the proud ship begins to sink. Panicked screams echo across the water as lifeboats overturn and the Atlantic claims its victims. News travels fast. Across the United States, shock turns to outrage. The nation that loved peace feels the first sting of injustice. Wilson condemns the attack, but refuses to be dragged into war. He demands Germany end their reckless submarine strikes. The world watches closely. Would America, the peaceful giant, rise and fight for now, the... And just when America hoped the worst was over, Germany prepared a secret message that would shatter that hope into dust. By 1917, Europe is drowning in destruction. Armies crumble, kingdoms fracture. Millions lie buried beneath the mud of trenches. America still stands strong, still committed to peace. But far across the ocean, Germany makes a desperate and dangerous move. January 16th, 1917. German Foreign Minister Arthur Zimmermann sends a coded telegram to Mexico. A secret proposal. The offer is shocking. If Mexico joins Germany and attacks the United States, Germany promises to help it reclaim Texas, New Mexico, and Arizona. It is a direct threat to American sovereignty, a betrayal of international peace, and a sign that Germany no longer fears America's strength. It intends to challenge it. But fate intervenes. British intelligence intercepts the message, cracks the code, and presents it to the United States. When President Wilson reads it, the room falls silent. For the first time, he realizes peace is no longer being threatened. It is being hunted. But the world had not yet seen the final insult. Germany was about to make one last decision that would leave America no choice at all. February 1917, Germany makes a decision that shocks the world. A decision that abandons all rules of war, all diplomacy, all restraint. They announce unrestricted submarine warfare. Every ship in the Atlantic, military or civilian, neutral or not, will be sunk without warning. It is an attack not just on the Allies, but on the very principles America has defended since its birth. Within days, U-boats strike again. American ships go down, American sailors die. And for the first time, the ocean, once a bridge of peace, becomes a battlefield. President Wilson, the man who fought hardest for peace, now faces a terrible truth. A nation cannot remain neutral when its people are being hunted. Across America, the mood transforms. Factories prepare for war. Newspapers roar with indignation. Citizens unite with a single voice. Enough. The peaceful giant has been pushed too far. And when America stands, the world will feel it. And so, after years of restraint, America stepped forward, not for conquest, but for justice. The world was about to witness a new kind of power. April 2nd, 1917, President Woodrow Wilson walks into the Capitol, the weight of the world on his shoulders. He stands before Congress and delivers the words that will change history. The world must be made safe for democracy. This is not a call for revenge, not a call for empire. It is a call for order, for justice, for peace in a world that has forgotten both. 4 days later, the vote is cast. The United States of America, the nation that tried harder than any other to avoid war, now steps boldly onto the world stage. In streets across the country, crowds cheer, not with hunger for destruction, but with pride. Pride that their nation stands for something greater than itself. Factories ignite with life. Shipyards thunder. Young men line up to serve, believing they are fighting not just for America, but for the future of humanity. And for the first time, the world sees America not as an observer, but as a rising superpower. But no one, Not even America was prepared for the scale of war awaiting them across the ocean. When America enters the war, its standing army is small, barely 200,000 men. But this nation has something the world underestimates: limitless energy, limitless industry, limitless will. Training camps rise overnight. Kansas, Georgia, South Carolina, Texas. Fields turn into vast military cities crowded with recruits. Farm kids, factory workers, clerks, students, they come from every corner of the nation. Their drill instructors are relentless. Their training is brutal, but they transform fast. Within months, America begins forging one of the largest fighting forces the world has ever seen. This army is young, fresh, strong, and fiercely motivated. And across the Atlantic, the Allies whisper with hope. When the Americans arrive, everything will change. But before American boots touched European soil, a silent enemy was waiting. An enemy no bullet could kill. Summer 1917. The first American troops, the vanguard of the American Expeditionary Forces, prepare to cross the Atlantic. But the ocean is not safe. U-boats lurk everywhere, waiting for transport ships loaded with American soldiers. The solution? Convoys. Destroyers circling troop ships like wolves guarding their pack. Night after night, American soldiers sleep, knowing a torpedo could strike at any moment. But they sail anyway, fearless, determined, ready. And then, after weeks at sea, the first American boots land in France. Crowds cheer, church bells ring, French citizens cry with relief. To them, America is not just another ally. It is salvation. But now the peaceful giant must face the brutal reality of the Western Front. A world unlike anything they had ever imagined. American soldiers arrive with confidence, discipline, and energy, but nothing can prepare them for the Western Front. A world of mud, wire, shells, poison gas. Men live underground like moles. Bodies lie between the trenches, unreachable. Artillery shakes the sky day and night. The French and British look at the fresh American troops with hope, but also with warning. This is not a normal war, they say. This is hell. And soon, the Americans will discover just how true that is. And before America fires its first major shot, the Germans launch a strike meant to crush the Allies once and for all. Early 1918, Germany launches the largest offensive of the entire war, the Spring Offensive. Over 1 million German soldiers surge forward with terrifying speed. The Allies reel backward. Entire divisions collapse. Cities fall. For a moment, it seems the war might be lost. But then, a new army arrives. The Americans. And when America enters the battlefield, the war begins to turn. The trenches had swallowed entire nations, but now the world sees a new force rise over the horizon. The Americans. Fresh, disciplined, fearless, carrying not just rifles, but the belief that this war can still be won. As they march into the shattered remains of France, the Allies watch with awe. For years, exhaustion ruled the battlefield. But with the United States now fully present, a shockwave of energy ripples through the front lines. American commanders refuse to blend into the stagnant tactics of trench warfare. They bring new ideas, new formations, new speed. No more crawling forward inches at a time. No more wasting thousands of lives for a few yards of mud. America moves with purpose, fast, precise, relentless. Where other armies had been broken by years of slaughter, American units strike with fresh strength. Their artillery is clean, modern, and well supplied. Their supply lines are unmatched. Their morale is unstoppable. But Germany would not surrender easily, and soon America would face its deadliest test yet, a battle so brutal it would decide the fate of the war. May 28, 1918, the small French village of Cantigny becomes the stage for America's first major assault. The world watches. Will the Americans fight as bravely as they talk? Or will they crumble in their first true test? At dawn, American artillery opens fire, a thunder that shakes the earth. Infantry rush forward, moving with precision the battlefield has not seen in years. While other armies struggled with confusion and chaos, the Americans advance like a machine. German positions fall faster than expected. Machine gun nests are silenced. Trenches are cleared with speed and discipline. By noon, Cantigny belongs to the Americans. It is not the size of the victory that shocks the Allies. It is the way it was done. Clean, organized, decisive. For the first time, America shows the world the full weight of its strength. But Cantigny was only the beginning. The greatest German offensive in history was about to slam into the Allied lines, and America would have to hold the line alone. March 1918. Germany unleashes the most powerful assault of the entire war, the Spring Offensive. It is their last gamble, their final attempt to break the Allies before American power fully arrives. 1 million German soldiers charge across the Western Front. Artillery rains down like a second sky falling. Entire sectors collapse in hours. British lines crumble. French defenses shatter. The Allied armies, exhausted, drained, broken, begin to fall back. And then Germany turns its eyes to the newest enemy, America. The German High Command believes U.S. troops are inexperienced, young, unproven. So they strike toward the areas where American divisions are stationed, expecting an easy victory. But they are wrong. The Americans dig in, hold their rifles steady, and refuse to give an inch. They are fresh, strong, and determined. Where the British fall back, America stands firm. But the next attack would not be a test. It would be a nightmare. A battle where America would fight surrounded, outnumbered, and nearly cut off from the world. June 1918. Germany pushes toward Paris. The French capital trembles on the edge of collapse. If Paris falls, the war is lost. The French, desperate, call for immediate American support. And without hesitation, U.S. forces race to Chateau Thierry, the gateway to Paris. They arrive just in time. German troops storm across the Marne River. Machine guns roar. Bridges explode. The enemy advances with terrifying speed. But America meets them head-on. Marines and infantry unleash a wall of fire so intense that German commanders believe they are facing an entire army. In reality, it is only a few American regiments. The clash at Chateau Thierry becomes legendary. Americans push the Germans back across the Marne. The advance on Paris stops dead in its tracks. In that moment, France realizes something profound. America did not come to participate in the war. But the Marines We're about to walk into a place so deadly, so infamous, that even the Germans called it the Forest of Death. June 1918. American Marines enter Belleau Wood, a dense forest filled with hidden German machine guns, trenches, and barbed wire. The Germans call it the Forest of Death, and they are right. Bullets rip through trees. Mortar shells tear the earth apart. Men fall by the dozens. The forest echoes with screams, the whistle of gunfire, and the roar of artillery. But the Marines press forward. They fight inch by inch, yard by yard, never yielding. Their motto becomes reality. Retreat, never. Victory, always. Hours stretch into days. The Americans dig, charge, and climb over shattered trees. By the end of the battle, Belleau Wood is theirs. The cost is immense, but the victory is priceless. The world sees a young nation proving its courage, its discipline, and its honor. Allies cheer. Enemies tremble. America has arrived, and nothing will be the same again. But Belleau Wood was only the beginning. Soon, America would face the greatest test of the war, the Meuse-Argonne Offensive, a battle that could end everything. September 26, 1918, the largest American attack of the war begins, the Meuse-Argonne Offensive. Over 1.2 million American soldiers move forward across nearly 40 miles of fortified German defenses. Artillery roars, tanks roll, planes fly overhead, dropping bombs on enemy positions. It is relentless, it is massive, it is brutal. The Germans have fortified every hill, trench, and forest. Every inch costs blood. Every yard requires sacrifice. But America pushes forward. Wave after wave, regiment after regiment, never stopping. Where other armies faltered, Americans persevere. Allied commanders, exhausted from years of fighting, watch with disbelief. The Americans are not just participating, they are leading the fight. And slowly, painfully, the German lines begin to crumble. And then, just when victory seemed close, the Germans launched a desperate counterattack. A gamble that could have crushed America's advance forever. October 1918. The Germans, desperate to stop the American advance, launch a massive counterattack. Artillery pounds the American lines. Machine guns cut down the first waves. Communication lines are severed. Chaos reigns. But the Americans do not falter. Despite exhaustion, despite mud, despite the stench of death, they hold the line. Officers shout orders over the roar of battle. Medics run through fire to save the wounded. Soldiers rally, refusing to give an inch. The German counterattack is fierce, but the Americans are fiercer. The discipline, training, and determination of the U.S. Army shines brighter than the explosions around them. By nightfall, the counterattack has failed. The German forces are bloodied, broken, and retreating. America has proven itself again, not just a powerful army, but a force capable of turning the tide of history. But the victory came at a staggering cost, and soon the world would demand a reckoning that only America could deliver. Late October 1918. The German army is exhausted, morale shattered, supplies gone, and America is relentless. American divisions push forward across the Meuse-Argonne. They advance where no one thought it possible, through forests, rivers, and barbed wire. Every day, every hour, American soldiers strike with precision. Every engagement weakens the German lines further. Allies regain hope. The French and British armies, inspired by American bravery, strike with renewed strength. The tide has turned. The war that has consumed the world for 4 years is finally tipping in favor of peace. And behind every American advance is the same principle: power used for justice, strength used to save lives, courage used to end suffering. And then, after 4 years of hell, the moment the world has been waiting for arrives. A ceasefire, a surrender, and the birth of a new era. November 11th, 1918. After 4 long years of blood, mud, and fire, the guns fall silent. The armistice is signed at 11 a.m. in a railway carriage in Compiègne, France. Across Europe, soldiers step out of the trenches cautiously. They look at the shattered fields, the destroyed towns, and the millions of lives lost. For America, the moment is historic. A nation that entered the war to preserve peace has achieved its mission. American soldiers, weary yet proud, stand as the guarantors of victory and stability. The world finally sees America not as a distant observer, but as a decisive, principled power, a force for peace. The newspapers in New York, Boston, and Chicago celebrate. Parades are planned. Families reunite. The young nation that once stayed neutral has reshaped the world. But the war's end was not the end of America's mission. A greater challenge awaited on the horizon, one of diplomacy, reconstruction, and ensuring lasting peace. But the war's end was not the end of America's mission. A greater challenge awaited on the horizon, one of, with the guns silent, America steps into a new role, not as a conqueror, but as a guardian of peace. President Wilson unveils his vision, the 14 points, a plan to prevent future wars, to secure justice and liberty, to protect nations large and small, self-determination, freedom of the seas, open diplomacy, an end to secret treaties and imperial ambitions. For the first time, the United States is not just a country. It is a symbol of hope. The world looks to Washington, not with fear, but with trust. America's message is clear. Power is only valuable when wielded for justice. Strength is only meaningful when it preserves life. Across the continents, exhausted leaders gather. They listen, they negotiate, they hope. Diplomacy, reconstruction, and ensuring lasting peace. But even with peace declared, the world remains fragile. And America knows that lasting stability requires more than victory on the battlefield.